Hello everyone. Today we will look at working of for loop in Python. Before we move further, let us quickly recap at what is looping. Looping in other words called iteration. This means to repeat set of statement oblique instruction for number of time, or in other words we can say or repeat instruction until a certain condition is fulfilled. Python provides two kinds of loop, for loop and while loop. Let us see working of a loop. Let us see the flow chart. The flow chart shows the working of the loop. In this flow chart, moving from start with some initial value, it first check the condition if before entering in the loop. If condition is true, then it execute the code within the condition and keep on executing till condition is true. When condition becomes false, it will exit from the loop. Now next we will see what is need of looping. To understand this, let us take a very simple programming example, that is write a program to print a message welcome on the screen 50 times. There are two ways. First way, write code of print statement in prog 50 times separately. Second way, to use loop to repeat same code of print statement 50 times. The first flowchart depicts the working of the first method. Okay, that is to write code for print statement 50 times separately, which is not a good programming practice. It means here we are our typing efforts are there more. In second flowchart depicts the use of loop which repeat one single print statement under the control of a loop which repeats 50 times print statement, same print statement. Okay. Next, well, today's lecture outline. Today we will discuss the for loop syntax, use of for loop with sequence, use of for loop with range function. Then there is a quiz for you people. Then I will explain the quiz which is given to you and the summary of today's lecture. Okay, next, what is for loop here? For loop basically used when we know the number of iterations that are required, unlike while loop where you are not sure about number of iterations are required. The for loop, in for loop you know how many times the statement that is present inside the loop to be executed. The for loop provided with the syntax that include the three fields. You look at the three fields here on the screen: Boolean expression, initial value of the counting variable, incrementation of the counting variable. Let us see the syntax here. For is a keyword, then I will choose a variable which will iterate over a range, or you can say sequence. Range may be a sequence. Then there is an in operator which checks that particular variable is in the range or not. It means in operator will return you the Boolean condition, that is true or false. Okay. Then the statement which are to be executed under a for loop is to be indented 4 spaces inwards. That is also compulsory. And there is a colon sign after the for loop which is a syntax which is also compulsory. If colon is missing, there is an error. Okay. Similarly, if statements are not indented, it means those statements are not considered as a part of the for loop. Okay. Then there is a flow chart showing the working of the for loop here. Beginning from the start, we'll check that item in the sequence. Condition is to check the item which is going to iterate over a sequence. If this item is present, it will execute the code. Then it will check the next item in the sequence and keep on executing till the item is in the sequence. If the item not found in the sequence, it will exit from the loop. Next we will see the implementation of the for loop in over the sequence. Implementation of for loop with sequence. Now let us see what there are various sequences in the Python. The sequences are list, string, tuple, dictionary and set. First I am taking some example here. I am taking with list. I am taking another example with the string. Okay, so let us take first list as a sequence. So lists are enclosed in square brackets. So here 10, 12, 14, 16, 18 are the items of the list. So x will iterate over these items. It means x will go first, take the value of 10, then x will take the value of 12, 14, 16 and 18 and so on. And similarly it will print 10, 12, 14, 16, 18. If I ask the question here, how many times this loop will work, it means then I will count the number of items of the sequence here. Since there are 5 items, the loop is working for 5 times. Similarly, in the next example, there are 3 items, loop is working here, executing 3 times. And similarly, in a string, loop is executing 6 times and so on. Next, see the use of range function here. So before we discuss the range with the for loop, let us individually discuss what is range function. Range is a built-in function which has 3 arguments: start value, stop and end. So start and step are the by default arguments. It will taken by default. If start is missing, the value will be 0, will be assumed default. Start means initial value, means start value of the sequence. End means stop value of the sequence. If end is n, the stop value will be assumed at n minus 1, means one step this before n minus 1. If step is missing, the 1 is by default. Step means counting increment of that sequence, counting increment. If let us say counting by 1, counting by 2 and so on. Let us see the implementation of now range function with the for loop. Here are the few example here. I am taking first for x in range 9. Here start value is also missing, step is also missing. It means the range function is executing from 0 to the last value is 9. It means one step less, that is 8, 0 to 8. So this loop is giving me the output 0 to 8. Similarly, the next 0 to 10 means 0 to 9. Similarly, next 0 to 40 with a gap of 2 means 0 to 38, means I am taking here one step less. So 40, one step less is 38 with a gap of 2. Similarly, if the third argument is minus 1, then it will display the this sequence in the reverse order here. Okay. Let us take a pause here for 5 minutes. Till then, you attempt. I have shared the quiz with you. You attempt this quiz. So we'll meet after 5 minutes. Okay, welcome back. I hope everyone has attempted this quiz. Now I will explain quiz and you can cross check your answers. The first quiz which was given by me is that which of the following is a valid for loop in the Python. So I have given the 4 option here. Option B is the correct option, but explanation for there is that for loop, that I already showed you on the this as per the syntax, that for loop always ended with colon in Python. Okay, that is why B option is correct, and other option are, first option is the syntax of C++, and C and D are the syntax of Python, but colon is missing here. Okay, that's why C and D is also not correct option. Okay, the next question is, what will be the output of the following Python code? So for I in range 0 to 2 minus 1 here, print hello. So this here the answer is the C is correct. Reason is that there will be no output. Why it is that? Because step is minus 1 in the range function here. Minus 1 indicates that the range function will generate the sequence in the reverse order. But the condition is that the start value must be higher than the end value. Okay? So it should be like that, 2 to 0, then it is correct. Okay? That's why this loop is not executing. It is, the condition is beginning at the false, so it is giving me the no output. So today's summary is that first we discuss the recap of the looping, then what is loop, and then we syntax of the for loop, design of the for loop with sequence, use of range function in Python, design of loop, and reflection point. And thank you.